Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Tigers Talk Rugby. Before we get started, if you are on Facebook listening to us or YouTube, we are on some podcasting platforms, and these include Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. So go give us a listen over there. We'd love to have you join us on your car rides and whatever other adventures you got. So with that, I'm Ethan Richards.
I'm CJ Bakle.
And I'm Beckett Rice.
And you're listening to Tigers Talk Rugby. So this episode, we will be talking about the MLR, as Beckett's showing us with his Seawolves jersey that he's got on and his Seawolves hat in the background.
It's been a long time since we've talked about the MLR.
Yeah, I mean, it went to the video game MLR lifestyle for a while there, which was pretty cool. It was pretty, like, that was a great solution for them to deal with the whole pandemic stuff. But I'm excited to have some real rugby back. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see it in the US. So kickoff will be March 20th. So we still got a couple months for that, but it's cool that they made all the announcements of this and the schedule and whatnot. We're going to have 18 weeks of regular season. There's the 13 teams because Glendale dropped out, and we got the pickup of Dallas and LA, which is going to be really cool. I think those rosters and the coaching staffs for those programs have started to come along pretty nicely at this point. Champion season will start in August, which will be fun. That's going to be a very hot time of the year. But we'll have 2 weeks of playoffs, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to still split East and West. You've got now, instead of an even number on each side, we have 7 in the West and 6 in the East. So do you think that makes it a little bit tougher for some of these teams in the West now that they've got an extra seed or extra team to fight over the same amount of seeds?
If you think about it, if everybody's even, it just lowers the probability of you getting in. Because instead of 2 out of 6 going, it's 2 out of 7.
Yeah,
could make it a little bit tougher for them.
But it's just got to be the top 2, really. It'd be different, I think, if it was like the top half or like the top 3 or 4 teams. But since it's just the top 2, I think it makes it a little bit different, I guess.
Well, prior to Colorado pulling out of the league, the plan was it'd be 3 teams from each side, and then the 1 seed in each conference would get a bye. So.
Right, but
exactly.
I think these changes were probably made in the vision that if things don't get better with the pandemic issues and it's still a challenge for all the traveling and all that, that it might be easier just to bring it down to 4. Because I think when they had the 6-team setup, I thought they were pretty content with that. And it seems like all the teams were happy with that from any responses on the new schedule changes from last year. So
yeah, that definitely is probably a factor.
But look at the hindsight. We have essentially 5 months of uninterrupted MLR rugby.
Yeah, I mean, from March 20th to playoffs beginning on the 1st of August, which means like after those 2 weeks, you got to August 14th. So that's a good span of rugby. I'm so hyped.
But I think it's a good move to have it. Oh, okay, it's a weird move to have it over the summer because it is going to be definitely hotter, specifically for these southern teams. Like, obviously in Texas, it's going to be so hot. And in New Orleans, it's going to be sticky. But at this point in time, they're not competing with any other sports leagues, like in terms of like football or remember the XFL was going on previously the last time the season was starting. So right now, the only thing that MLR has to compete with is baseball. So I think that's
well. So here's my theory, right? And this is getting into a little bit of the financial, political side of running a league. It's a big deal to try to get MLR on things like ESPN and all that they've started pushing for all of that. Yeah. And so a way that they've done it is by doing those like quarterly water breaks and doing those like few minutes, and they run commercials and whatnot. And I think because they're pretty much, to get those TV deals, that's almost guaranteed that they're going to have to sacrifice something like that. That if they're going to go ahead and already have to do that, they can now take advantage of the fact that they can play during these hotter months and do what the plan would be anyways for them and still get the benefits. That's my theory. I have nothing really to back
once
that
I think
up,
about it.
But
kind of Americanized rugby a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a great strategy. You got no sports going on. You know you can use these water breaks that you're gonna putting in anyways in places like Texas and Louisiana and even arguably Atlanta. Like it gets pretty hot here in the Southeast as well. So like those are going to be a requirement anyways when it gets to that time of the year. So I think it's
not Charleston be sticky as all
heck. But yeah, I mean that's some of that, all that. We don't need to go all in on that, but that's my theory behind it. But some of the advantages of the league growth. So
I want to talk about real quick. I want to talk about just a few games next year that I'm really, really looking forward to, that I think will be some of the most entertaining. Like first off, the one I'm really excited for is first week, Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Dallas is playing LA. It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be the two expansion sides. I've liked both the rosters they've been putting together over the offseason. They've got some good, solid players in there. I think it's a really entertaining game, but they both have something to prove.
Yeah, one of these two teams is gonna start off in the MLR undefeated all-time history. So
all right. I mean, that's true.
Unless they draw, and then they're both undefeated.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they're still undefeated. Yeah.
No, but I think that's gonna be awesome, and I think the biggest thing that's gonna come into play there is I think these teams are gonna have had plenty of time to prepare. Right? They're by the time they're getting set up for the season, like LA might have a bigger issue with preparation because of how much stricter the California policies have been on like sports and like how the pandemic's been affecting that. Yeah. And so it's like one of those things that I think that's what's gonna be the decider, right? Because it's not like these teams have had a lot of time to prepare, but LA has not been in optimal conditions or in better conditions. Obviously, none of this is optimal.
So what I'm hearing is that you're already predicting a Dallas W week 1.
Yeah, we can say I'm predicting a Dallas W.
You're way too early predictions for the season.
My way too early prediction for this season is week 1, Dallas beating LA. I'll take that. I'll take that with a grain of salt. You know, okay. I before we started this episode, I was already on like talking about how I felt the Dallas coaching staff is looking.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the same thing. That if we were going to do way too early predictions, I'm going to put Dallas over by a tad bit just because their coaching staff is looking pretty studded.
Oh, absolutely. Moving on from that.
I was going to ask you what other games. I know you had a few.
Yeah, I got a few more. So another game I'm really looking forward to is the second week. San Diego plays Toronto.
Yeah.
And
what would have been really probably the championship from this last season.
Yes, because I believe San Diego was undefeated at 5-0, and Toronto led the East at 4-1, and it was looking like they were two of them meeting the championship. It's going to be a really great game to see them play and to see, of course, Chris Robshaw is going to be wearing the red of the Legion.
That's going to be interesting.
Very good. I think that'll be a fantastic game to see.
I think that is probably going to be the biggest game in the first third of the season. In those first like 6 weeks, I think that's the game to look at, because right now, like, we can say that, oh, it's been a year, we don't know what those teams look like, but so far, like those rosters aren't looking that different,
Yeah,
right? Like they're
the only issue with San Diego is they did lose their starting centers, and I think they're fly half.
right, but like like in the core group, like when you
Mhm.
look at who's in and who's out on their roster, like it's pretty similar. Like
Yeah,
there's so much overlap that like I expect both of these teams to come in looking like they were last year.
I think San Diego might be up for the best back row in the entire league because, um, well, obviously they have Rob Shaw, they have Psalm Witchin, they have a really good Fijian 8-man in, I think it's Jasa Vermula, I think. Yeah, so I think they have, or no, not him, sorry, it's Kenny Nasakiki. So I think it's going to be a really solid back row from them, and that's going to be one of their big powerhouses.
For sure. So and I believe you had one more game.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the other game I was very interested in was, this comes a little bit later. This is a bit of a bias. Week 8, Seattle is playing Dallas. And I think that's going to be a great game because obviously it's Seattle, and Dallas is starting to slowly becoming probably my second favorite team in the league. And I think it's going to be a great game.
So that's Beckett's game of the season.
A little bit.
That's what I'm
biased,
hearing.
Yeah, a little bit
it's
of
Beckett's
bias.
game of the season.
Yeah. Now,
awesome.
Going away from bias, the following week is San Diego, Seattle. So we get a rematch of the season 2 championship. That'll be
I was about to say that's the Western Titans, I think.
Yeah.
Is San Diego Legion versus Seattle Seawolves in terms of organizations. I'm not gonna say right now because of how little Seattle has really announced in terms of like what their formal roster is going to look like and all that. But I think that is turning out to be the two biggest organizations in the West, and that's a battle of the fans. And I would love to see that evolve into a big rivalry, the Southwest versus the Northwest.
I just want to put it out there, we're the only team with 2 stars above our
Damn.
No one else has any. So
damn, that's a ouch, buddy. Well, I mean, that one will really be the battle of the franchises because, like Ethan said, it is the two biggest probably fan bases, and hopefully since it's a little bit later on in the season, maybe we can actually get some people in those stands to cheer for them as well. So
I would love that.
Yeah.
But now my games to look out for, so Beckett, you put out your games that you're looking out for, but my games that we're all looking out for is basically every single rugby ATL home game because we're going to go to as many as possible.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys
I'm already marking my calendars.
Yeah, barring whatever we can go, if we can go in and how many people are allowed in and, everything like that with our schedules. But if any of our listeners want to, you're from Atlanta or you're in the Atlanta area and want to come to a game with us, let us know because we're going to try to go to as many of these games as possible.
Absolutely.
See if we can get those press passes back again.
That was awesome.
Yeah, interviewing plug in earlier episodes. If you go back, we have a couple of interviews with a few of the ATL rugby guys after their match with Rooney, and their perspective was really interesting. It was a close game. It was a tough game, and those guys fought till the very end. And you should go listen to some of their words because they had a lot of good things to say.
But maybe you could be a part of that next time if you guys tag along with us at a game.
Yeah. We also got to meet Matteo Bastro, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was pretty sweet.
So, tying us back in a little bit, I believe you guys had a couple major signing selections that you guys wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
I will. I'll let CJ go first this time.
So Beckett and I, I'll just start like a little bit of an intro. Like Beckett and I over this off season have been going back and forth with especially each other about these big name signings. And we've been like saying, okay,
I'm going to
the
interrupt
biggest
here
name?
real quick. I'm gonna interrupt here real quick. It's not just like back and forth. It's like as soon as a signing releases, my phone's blowing up in our group chat
Yeah, it's
of
like,
of
holy
these
crap! Did
signings,
you
and they're
see this?
like, yeah, and these two, I are so active on catching all of them as soon as they happen and theorizing and whatnot. So like, I'm giving it back to CJ. I just wanted to make that clear because it's like immediate. As soon as the signing happens, they're on it.
So my first signing that I want to kind of discuss with everybody is the Billy Meeks signing at the Giltinis. How awesome is that?
That's pretty awesome.
Big Rebels, Melbourne Rebels guy. Big Australia, big name coming out to Los Angeles to play. That'd be amazing.
He's been doing pretty well for my Irish over in the Prem for a few weeks now.
Yeah. That's gonna be nuts. So, I know. CJ's like that's CJ loves this.
Well, I like this. I love this signing solely because like when you're the Giltinis, you're a brand new squad. You kind of need a little bit of a veteran. You need a little bit of leadership. Why not pull out somebody who is just like he's a big name in rugby, stellar guy, world-class player. He's probably on his retirement tour for, that's probably why he's in the MLR. But still, like having a leader and like somebody like Billy Meeks is going to be awesome for a new team.
Yeah,
face of the franchise. I'm going to call him face of the franchise right now.
Ooh, that's a really bold statement.
Even though he's probably only going to be there for a couple years
considering that they also have Dave Dennis from Exeter there.
I was about to mention they have another big signing from the Premiership as well. I was like, oh, that's a bold statement to pick him as to be the face of the franchise.
Billy Meeks is going to be the man for them.
I'll keep tabs on that.
Well, like I said, LA, they got Dave Dennis and DTH Vandermeer. So they do have a lot. They're bringing in a lot of star power on this team. So it's going to be real fun to watch that team.
The real question is for you guys. My real question is do you believe these two guys are leaders and will be able to not only teach and coach and educate some of these younger players who will be playing alongside them, or do you think they'll be able to take the next step and lead them on the field as well?
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think on and off the field, yeah. I think these guys will be fine.
I think Dave.
I agree. I just wanted to
step up and be the biggest leader. I'd build him as possible captain for next season.
Ooh.
For them.
Okay.
He's very experienced. Spent a long time in the Prem. Just won the Premiership and the European Cup with the Chiefs. So.
Yeah. So, Beckett, I know you've got another one.
Yes. San Diego.
Okay, San Diego. Let's put a big star beside this one. Basically, any signing that they have, it seems, is just a really, really freaking good one.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't literally every week. It's like you see a San Diego sign. It's like, oh, who this time? Which one? Which former, you
always gotta wonder.
Player who absolute star. Is it this time?
You always gotta wonder. Are they pulling a Saracens on us right now?
Oh God.
Yeah, so back do the big reveal.
I interrupted you very hard.
Well, there's two big ones here, but I'll stick with one for right now. They have, of course, former England captain Chris Robshaw.
The man, the myth, the legend
himself. The myth, the legend. Former long-time Harlequins captain. He's
long-time Harlequins
captain.
I think do you think he's going to captain the Legion next season?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
I would not. I don't think he will be an official captain. I think he will definitely be part of the leadership group, though. Absolutely.
I agree. I don't think he'll be captain.
I only ask this is because, he's leader. They're captain for England. captain of the Harlequins for like the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, do you think that
I think
he's
they
going
will
to
give
step
the
onto the
captain,
training field and then automatically become captain by
I
his
think they'll
coaches
give
and
the
players?
captaincy to players from last year that are continuing on. I'm pretty sure they still have their captains from last year. I think their fly half Joe Peterson was their captain last year, so I feel like he'd probably continue in that role.
Yeah, I think
But
he'll
I think
end
he'll
up.
absolutely be in the leadership group.
Yeah, I think he may end up like a positional captain,
Oh,
like in charge
yeah.
of like
forwards.
yeah,
Forward
yeah,
captain, I could see that.
yeah. Like I think he'll be, or even then, like he might be in charge of like not quite even all the forwards, but just like his group of maybe like 3 to 5
The
players
back
of
row captain.
yeah, like yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well, I
all the
think he's
starters and the
definitely
subs.
someone that they turn to that a lot of the players turn to regularly during practice or during games, just because he's so
Absolutely.
experienced and has so much knowledge as both a player and a leader.
And there's like what's not to respect there, to be honest. Like there's a reason why he has been a consistent captain leadership for the Quins for so long, is like because clearly everyone who's rotated in and out of that roster over that time frame has found that respect to him to continue to put him in that position. So yeah.
I mentioned another signing for San Diego.
Yes.
I think also possibly quite as big. It's of course the speedster
Say it already.
Cecil Africa, the former 2011 IRB World Sevens Player of the Year.
Yes.
Just absolutely amazing player.
What a monster. And I'm so ready to see what he's about to do on that field because he's one of those guys where like I don't think he cares about who's in front of him or who's like on the like edges of the hole that he's about to go hit.
Mhm.
I genuinely think he's going to be going through those holes at just monster pace with monster force, and it's going to be so crazy to see. I want to see some drug stakes, honestly.
I could see him fighting Ryberg over at the Giltinis for leading try scorer for this year.
Oh, absolutely. He's gonna like. I would not be surprised to see him like in a beautiful position with like just enough open space where all he has to do is stick in a beautiful stiff arm and just like bullet past somebody.
Yeah.
Or I think his ability in kick chase for them is it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be wild.
I was thinking the exact same thing. And then I was also thinking when I saw this this signing back in October, that Cecil Africa was kind of like the Carlin Isles and Perry Baker of like the World Seven Series before Carlin Isles and Perry Baker. So
for sure,
whenever Cecil Africa is able to give like a couple inches of space, he's going to be able to hit that hole, hit that space with so much pace and just zip by guys. I'm just wondering if he's going to get that space in the 15s game. But we've kind of talked about this in the past with MLR. It's like the MLR defense is kind of iffy here and there. So maybe he does.
Even the semblance of a gap, he will see it and he's gone.
Yeah.
I think he's just so fast and like he's not a big guy in terms of like height or anything.
No, he's only like 5'10", I think about 165, 170. So.
Yeah, but like everything he's got is built, and like he's like, I mean, even in his 2016 Olympics performance, like, I feel like that's probably the biggest place that people would recognize him in recent years. Like he was instrumental, in my opinion, on taking them to their bronze medal finish. Yeah. He's just like he's so powerful with the ball in hand, and I think he's gonna do. He's
lightning in a bottle. I'm telling you,
lightning.
Awesome. Well, I believe that's going to round us up for the day. Unless you have any more picks, CJ. Do you have one more?
I mean, we kind of touched on it a bit. It was the Ryberg to the Giltinis, but that was it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
quick
But not
mention,
much
a little
today.
underrated signing, Bryce Campbell to the Gilgronis. Great player he is. Really liked watching him at the Irish. I love watching him in the MLR.
Awesome. So a few other little call outs.
Back at the MLR again now.
Yeah, yeah.
Turn.
And peep the Free Jacks also. They've got a couple of other signings, like a couple little signings of guys, but I think it'll be pretty good for them too.
Yeah. So with that, we're gonna wrap up this episode. If you haven't already, if you can click on the link that'll be attached to this video, and you can subscribe to us via Anchor. It could be $1, $5, $10 a month. It would really help us out in increasing our quality and our performance, and we'd love to bring you in more into our family. Yeah, CJ, you got anything else?
Yeah. I don't know. Do I have anything else?
I don't know.
Besides, happy holidays and go watch some rugby.